Hi friends, this is the Be Real Babe podcast, a place where your average Canadian wolfpack come together to talk about life stresses, messes, and successes. A safe space where being yourself is the ultimate goal. Each week we will bring you new episodes sharing our opinions on a ton of different topics in hopes we can get a better understanding of ourselves, each other, and this crazy world we live in. We want to build a community where we can show up as ourselves, be real, and lay it all out there. By sharing our opinions and experiences, we hope to reach others who can relate so we can all help each other learn, grow, and heal. But please keep in mind, as a disclaimer, none of us here are professionals, no one is giving any advice. We are strictly speaking of our life experiences, our opinions, and for entertainment purposes only. Now, with that being said, it's time. So grab your drink, grab your joint, and let's jump right in. Welcome everyone. Welcome back to the Be Real Babe podcast. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping by the show today. We hope that you have a good time. And if you're a returning listener, watcher, supporter, thank you guys so much from the bottom of our hearts for coming back time and time again. For those that don't know me, my name is Brandy and I am the host of the show. And today, you guys, we are back, bitches! Episode 146, season 6 opener. Oh my God, you guys, I cannot believe we're here. I cannot believe we're going on a 6th season. I cannot believe that by the time this launches, it's going to be September 1st and we're fucking going into who knows what kind of fall and winter we have in store for you guys and the world and Canada itself. But we are beyond excited to be back into the studio today. We have some changes coming up in season 6, some same that you always know from your babes, and some new coming to you, all focused around real talk, all focused around healing, growing, helping each other, learning, being controversial, getting kicked off some sort of platform and shadow banned, I am sure. But we have worked very hard for this season layout and we are very excited to bring it to you. But before we jump into the studio with my babe Hales, I just want to remind you guys, if you are listening to our video and this on Apple and Spotify, make sure you turn on those notification bells. You can follow and give us a review. If you are watching on video on YouTube or Rumble, make sure as well that you can subscribe and turn on notifications and like the video. Comment for engagement, because y'all, we're getting in so much trouble at YouTube. It's kind of frustrating, but we'll keep pushing through. And if you are on social media, which we know most of you are, you can find us on all the top ones like Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. Don't forget to follow us there and reach out to us if you have any comments, questions, concerns. If you want to be on a show yourself, we absolutely fucking love talking to everyone. And although this season is not going to be as heavy as the last season, we still have tons of opportunities to bring guests on. If you do have a story that you want to share, an experience, opinion, if you want to educate us yourselves, you want to teach us something, we are fucking here for it. So shoot us a message on those social media platforms. But I'm going to shut up and we are going to get on to our first episode of the season. I'm so excited. Welcome back, babes. I cannot wait for the season to unfold and to have the next 5 months hanging out with you wherever you are in the world. Much love. Let's jump into the show. All right, babes, we are back in studio. Today I have my beautiful co-host Hales with me. Hey, babe. Hey, babe.
Hey, it's good to be back. It's been forever, even though we talk every day.
I know. Every day. But we haven't got to do this every day.
I know.
And it's like,
it feels like it's been
equally,
forever, but equally is like
every day.
Yeah, it feels like it's been.
It's not like we did it every day.
Forever, but not forever at the same time.
But same. Yeah, it was kind of nice to have the break, because then it's like, oh my God, I had a podcast on, so you're like, I don't, and I have some time, and it wasn't bad, but it was nice, and so it's like, oh,
definitely threw me off of everything. I have to put all my alarms back on, so I make sure I like post and get everything done.
Do all that shit.
Throw me out of my
I know. I was like,
routine.
what day do we start posting?
I know.
Yes, but we're back. We're here. We are so excited. Season 6. I can't believe we're saying these words. We are recording 2 weeks before launching, so what we talk about today, obviously, especially with some ongoing events and issues, will definitely be different in 2 weeks time. But so excited, guys. We have some updates for the season when it comes to who's here, who's going to be here. We're going to talk about what's coming up in season 6. We're going to talk about current situation that we're in, how our summer that I'm in, but kind of like Hales was just in it too during this time. How was our summer, and what we're most looking forward to this coming season and this fall and winter, because it's that time.
It looks like it's moving into a very interesting fall and winter for
that's
our country.
why we do this, so that we stay a little bit more sane and we don't express violence outside of
Don't
our
start punching random
vocals.
people in the face in
Yes,
parking
yeah,
lots.
yeah, exactly. Yes, I just watched that Mario movie, and Donkey Kong, when he got mad, he was just like punching everything, and I was like, can relate, bro,
Can
with the
relate.
country right now. Like, can
No
relate.
kidding.
But anyways, guys, let's start with some of the updates of the individuals that are going to be seen and not seen this season. Unfortunately, we wanted to take a minute to give a huge shout out to Danielle D. She came on for season 5 and season 6, and this season she is a bit busy. Just so many exciting things for her with her new engagement and her new job and her career and her own business. And we just wanted to thank her so much for all the hard work between social media posts, the
For
research,
sure.
showing up, being there, being our cheerleader. Don't get me
She'll
wrong,
be
y'all.
back
She is still
around for
filtering
sure.
us. Yeah, she'll be back around. You'll see her face. She's not gone. Just wanted to just say that, and thank you guys. Thank you, Dee, so much for
We'll miss you,
the
but
last season.
we
We'll miss you,
definitely know
but you're
you're
still here.
on to bigger and brighter things, so we support you no matter what.
Yes, and we know you're listening, so
Yeah.
we're always going to have you in mind and be like, what would Dee say?
I'll miss reading
WDB.
your write-ups
Your
though,
notes.
because I can hear you saying it as I'm reading it, and those are my favorite.
Exactly. Ain't that convenient?
Right?
Isn't that interesting? No, it was really good. So just wanted to shout out again, guys, but don't stress. It's not like one of those caller daddy situations. Like, all good. We are so excited to see where this beauty is going to go on, and we are definitely having her back. And keep watching the stories, because she is still filtering all of her good shit to us on our stories on Instagram. So don't worry.
She's behind a lot of that.
You're gonna have some D in you still. Sorry, I had to.
I love it.
I hope you heard that, and I hope you
Dirty
laughed.
humor.
Just gonna start the season. Might as well. We actually have a whole bunch of new followers, and we are gonna probably hit, by the time this launches, without a doubt, we're gonna hit 12K.
Dude,
I think
the
we're at
views.
11,009 and 20. Yeah, you guys have been listening this whole break.
As soon as we leave, you guys you miss us or something.
What's that about? So we just have to leave more, I guess. The heart grows fonder, whatever that saying is. The absence make the heart. That's what it is. So like, thank you guys so much. It's really pushed both me and Hales over the last like couple weeks to like amp us up for, the next season, just because there are some changes coming. So, you get nervous about those changes. Are they going to like them? Are they not? But y'all seem to be liking something.
We'll have to see next break. See how many people like our new
format
and knew what's going on, right?
Yeah, and I kept saying I kept saying to myself like, oh, it's gonna drop. This does it every season. We stop, we see this increase, it's gonna drop, and it just hasn't. And we're about 2 weeks away from launching. So yeah, like, fuck yeah, guys, let's go. Anyways, next announcement. Obviously, guys, as you know, Kayla's super fucking busy all the time, and now she's got an amazing job where she is actually like busting her ass, like she used to. Not that she wasn't busting her ass, but like physically moving, doing shit, doing the damn thing,
sweating
working
her tits off in her
6-7 days a week, literally sweating her tits off and doing all the cardio. So just like the last couple seasons, you will still see her around, but she is going to be on the back burner a little bit and jump in when she can, because she is never going to let go of this, and I'm not ever going to let her let go. I was hard enough letting Dee go, but like, okay, I'll give you grace. Like, you start a new family, but and Cashy's coming home for the fall, and he's at that age where, sports are really important and they want to be involved. And
for sure,
you guys know that family is first here. And not that Hales doesn't have her shit. I'm not saying she doesn't,
Mine's
but she's
still
addicted
little.
like me. So
she doesn't have sports. Right. She has coloring on my furniture and the Gay Home Ladies furniture. So that's all she's into.
Yes. Yeah. Well, her problem now. No, just kidding.
Mortified.
So that's a couple changes with the girls. And then I'm sure you guys have picked it up, or we've said it along the ways, but we have picked up a new host. It's going to be, I didn't want to say this, but I'm going to say it. It's going to be another D, but with a D. So we have our favorite Dusty, Fan City Mountaineer, joining us at least one time a month to have a section called Being Real with Dusty. And he is going to bring on his own guests, or have us, or we're not sure. We're just letting him go wild with it.
It'll be fun. His opinions, his take on things. It's a bro in with the babes, which is new, and will be
very excited.
A good, opposite view of what girls see is what guys see. So it'll be a good voice to have.
Seeing in our stats. Yeah, we've been seeing in our stats too that we have increased in men views. So thank you, men.
Wildly.
Thank you, guys. I hope you know that we are advocates for you, and it's not about girl things. And that kind of leads us in. Also, Kayla, obviously, thank you for everything you do, babe. Like, without her, this wouldn't have started.
I feel like that goes without saying.
See her more. But yeah, I just didn't want anybody to think, you know how it is, there's a bunch of girls and there's tea and
The
drama. That ain't
drama.
it here. That is not here. This is so far from that. It's understanding and respecting each other's goals and dreams, and always being there, and always knowing the door is always open, and we're always here to have them back when they're ready to. This is my passion, my hobby. I've been there since day one, and like I said, guys, 10 seasons. I'm going strong, so we got 4 more before I decide if I keep going. So anyways, that, and then Dusty joining, so we've got some changes, some male energy, and instead of doing 2 episodes a week, because holy fuck, we're gonna do just 1. So I see that you guys have been catching up, but let us know too if you're getting to that page where like, okay, 8 was too much, but 4 is not enough. Can you do like, a little bit more? Just
or
let us know,
4
guys.
longer
like,
ones. Maybe we bump them to an hour and a half.
Or do we chop it up?
Yeah.
Like you guys let us know. I mean, you're fucking terrible at it. I love y'all. You're terrible at letting us know. Besides just listening,
but
I guess
just
that's
let
your
us
way.
know.
But let us know in your way by listening. So that being said, let's talk about season 6, you guys. So every season to me is a new
blank page, man.
Adventure. A new blank page. Like, what are we going to talk about? How is this going to look? How are we going to throw this on social media? Who's going to be there? What capacity do we have?
Yeah.
Like, what did people like from the last seasons? What did we like from the last seasons?
Always
what
trying
we're
to
like,
adjust,
okay, let's never
right?
do that again. Yeah, what do we want to do again? What are we finding? And where's the state of the world, and how can we be of service to our community, right? So with all those things in mind, going to one show on your Fridays, because that's our favorite day to launch. Personally, I get so stoked every Friday. I'm like, yeah, what do we start the weekend? I know.
Hell yeah.
Friday, fuck yeah,
one extra good thing on a Friday. What's so bad about that?
Yeah. And you have all weekend to listen, and if not, Monday morning's your thing, then we're ready with a new episode for you. So what you guys are going to see, and like we'll try and keep to the order, because we both have OCD in that sense, and we both like to like
the order of things.
But shit yes, shit happens. So we're going to start, obviously this is our season opener. This is a totally different, but we're going to start the month actually with Dusty's being real. Very excited for his first part. And then we're going to go into a new segment called Keeping Up with Canada. Now, this segment is for me and Hales and the people in the background, like Mama's still in the background searching, and the girls are still funneling in for information to us. We want to keep you more informed now with the bill that came in, C-18, and the fires that are going on. We'll fucking get to that in a minute. We can see how important it is to keep Canadians informed. Yeah. And since we're junkies on learning this shit, we'll give you a view of what we see and tell you to go research on your own.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's like a play on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but like for shit that I think we need to know now. Like that was
very
fun.
much the opposite of the Kardashians.
Fun time.
But
like this is
hopefully
probably,
it's more useful information than they provide you.
Information. Mm-hmm. And like, what should we know, guys? Like, I feel like I know a little bit about politics, but I don't really know. So when we see like even the censorship bill has been completely taken out of context in different ways. So what does that? Yeah. So what are both sides? What are both sides saying? And can we kind of come to the middle of what this actually means? Is there a positive to it? What are the negatives? And that not just for that, tons of other stuff. So. And even just events that are happening in Canada, like when the trucker convoy was a thing, like they're hinting about some other variant that's supposed to come out of Canada that's going to shut the states down, like
shut the
shit
states,
like that.
shut the states, which will ripple over to us, and our fall looks like it's going to be an interesting one again. But that's where we come in. Hopefully, we can keep people updated and.
Exactly. And just our opinion on it too, right? Just a different view from what's out there and where you guys can go. And then as always, guys, we're always going to have our Being Real With. That was a huge success in season 5. I think that we can both agree that's one of our favorites. Absolutely. Is having our guests on. And so instead of having a couple a month, it'll be one episode with probably several people like we used to do back in season 1. If you have been here that long, that's what we used to do, is that we'd have a topic and then we'd talk about it, and then our guests would have their own segment on that whole episode. So
those ones might end up being longer, but I feel like there's something I just like having the different opinions and different stories in it. So it'll be good.
And the different
I'm excited.
Experiences. Yeah, me too. I'm so excited. And too, what we'll do is we will timestamp every single interview. So that episode may be 3 hours long, but it's probably going to be 3 1-hour segments. So it's like, okay, one day you can watch the first one, you can come back, or if there's a guest that you really want to see that you haven't seen for a while, catch up on there. I said less interviews and less things, but I can't help it. I can't help it. I love talking to you fucking people so goddamn much. I know. I'm like, oh, that first episode, you're going to do 5. And I was like, but now you have 3 people to interview. So that's kind of like 8. in the
Yeah,
whatever. That's my own problem.
that's fine.
And then we're also going to have one episode a month where we do a deep dive. So whatever that topic is, like hashing it out like we did every week for the last
Can I just
5
say I'm
months.
very thankful to limit it to once a month, because doing some of the research, especially with how dark and deep we went into some of those topics,
Yes.
it was a
Yes.
lot. I enjoyed it and it
It was.
was definitely
Yep.
fun, but it was a lot of
Yep.
heavy research. So once a
Mm-hmm.
month seems a little more reasonable
So
for
once a month's good.
our brains and
Yeah.
our menti
And we did
health.
the dark now, right? Like we did the dark. We went and seen all the shitty things that
I
you could
think,
see
yeah,
out there,
we'll
and
focus on
now
the
we're yeah, the others. And this season we want to focus more on like how can we empower everybody?
mm,
How can we empower others to find their voice or start their own thing, their own podcast, their own
yeah,
YouTube, what the fuck ever. You want to start a garden, you want to
yeah.
learn more, like, inspire people to just continue to get excited about life and try to be positive. I'm just looking outside right now and it's like
I was going
so
to say
fucking smoky.
the thing about that people always forget is you have to have both. So, yes, last season may have been a little dark, so this season we'll try and focus on the
But
light, but you have to have both always. So,
yes, yes.
that's
And
where
that's why
us
we had the
being
being
real
real.
comes into, because you cannot you can't share just the positive without shining a little bit of light on the negative, unfortunately, and you can't do vice
Yes.
versa. Like, you can't be all negative
Yes.
without showing a little bit of the positive. So we're trying to balance that out this season and
A little bit.
see where
Just a
we
little bit.
go with that.
A little bit.
A little bit.
But probably depends on where you are in your journey too, right? So it's like I know these things are bad, but it's like once you find some of these things out, like
Hmm.
maybe some signs of how you could stop human trafficking for yourself or, anything like that. Like it's dark, but in the same sense, it's like, isn't it kind of a light when you're trying to
Yeah.
warn people of that and like let them know? And
Like I
it
always
just
say,
depends on
I'd
where you are
rather
in your
be
journey, right?
aware than not.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather know than not.
Exactly.
So yes, it can be dark and negative, and there can be some like crappier aspects. But like B said, in that you can also learn and help others, help yourself, help your family. So it like, and that to me, even though it is darker research, that to me is the positive. You are more informed,
Yes.
therefore you can better help yourself, your family, and
Yes.
people around you. So
Yes, and a big part of that too is cultivating that critical thinking and
hmm
not saying that every single thought that you get led to or that could make sense is real. But it opens up your mind to see more always. And I think that that's a disservice to ourselves as much as it is a service. And we're going through that right now,
hmm
which we'll talk about after we talk about our summers. But, I think it's important that because some of these things some of us didn't even know existed and then all of a sudden we figured it out and it was such a hit to the system. It was like you're sick to your
that
stomach, you don't want to
cognitive
live anymore.
dissonance is a real
Yeah,
bitch.
it works. It is. And discernment's really hard too because like although some things sound like they make sense and they connect perfectly, sometimes it just isn't
It
either,
just
right? Like
is too good to be
it
true. That
isn't.
old tried and true. If it's too good to be true, then it is
Yeah.
type thing, right?
Yes, yeah, and I think where we have been all the hosts on the show across, I think we've all gone to the darkest parts and been the deepest conspiracy theorists to, learning that some of them really aren't true and they're, kind of out there and like wow, and then that it's not everybody in the freedom community is definitely like for you and kind of use you. Like there's been this like to this like full circle of being like yeah, we need medical and Western medicine, but can we do
It's
like
really
we've really all come to this middle ground now,
fine
I feel
tuning
like.
our discernment, because discernment can only take you so
Exactly.
far before you start just, yeah, like
Going
crazy
crazy.
conspiracy theorists, you believe everything,
Yes.
where
Yeah.
like we may talk about some very serious things, but that does not necessarily mean that we are 100% aligned with everything or
Correct.
believe everything or don't believe everything. It's just more of food for thought, things that we find very like I said to be earlier, how when does coincidence become too coincidental? Like
Yeah.
it's
What's
just,
the line?
yeah, like
Yeah.
some of the things you find out, it's like, okay, well, but what? How?
Pourquoi?
Why?
And like,
Like,
why does this make sense?
yeah.
And like a lot of stuff, it's like, let's put a pin in it because it seems like once you put a pin in
hmm
information, a couple years down the road, it really starts lining up more. And I think that's where
Yeah.
these conspiracy theories, that's when you know it kind of turns to a fact of being like,
I feel
okay, there
like
was some truth to that.
C19 really
Hmm.
put that hard into play. Is like
Yes.
now a few years down the
Yes.
line, maybe we weren't so fucking crazy. Maybe us, yeah, people that were being so outspoken and apparently like
Yes.
ruining our lives because of our opinions, we're doing
Yes.
it
No doubt.
for reasons. Like
For
we wanted
reasons,
to,
not for
we
fun.
weren't doing it to be weird and like combative. We're doing it trying to
Yes.
be helpful and trying to provide information
Yes.
like, people, do you not see this? Like, yeah,
Yes.
it's
And counter me because I
mhm.
don't want to be right.
Yeah,
Like,
like,
y'all think we
yeah.
want to be right about this
Did you
shit.
think we wanted to like,
Uh,
yeah, be as accurate as we were?
uh,
But we're batting easily 1,000 over the government right now. So
yeah. No, 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 no. Don't want to be here. Would rather be
no,
like, oh, I am fucking crazy and I should probably go talk to someone. Like, I would prefer that, please and thank you. And I'm not, and this is the other thing too, though, is a lot of us have to check
yeah,
ourselves that just because we were right about some things in the
does
past, that doesn't mean
not
we're right
make you
about
right about
everything
everything.
either, right?
Yeah,
So that's like the super important part where it's like this season, I think both me and Hales are very on the path of bridging and healing that and taking both sides here, and how can we come together and
devil's
how can we
advocate, right?
focus more, yeah, and how can we focus more on coming together and actually being strength instead of pointing fingers and continually saying, well, these
Making
people are ruining.
change.
Yes, like, you want to ruin your kid's life doing weird things that I don't agree with, go ahead. Okay, you want to put shit in your body and you know what you're doing, and that could potentially give you
Do
this, that,
you?
and the other. Go ahead. I don't fucking care. I'm just letting y'all know and my opinions and what I would do with what I have. And tomorrow, that's going to change. And I want you to take my opinion and Hale's opinion and soon to be Dusty's opinion as face value. Those are just our thoughts. That's where we
Well,
are based
it's
on our opinions. And just keep them there.
opinions
And
aren't
then
special,
take what
right?
you want and leave.
Everyone has
No,
one,
they're assholes. Everyone has one.
and
You
that's
can like it or not.
totally fair.
You can
But
preach it or
we're
not.
just like you're entitled to yours, and you're entitled to not
Mhm.
listen to ours. That's fine. We're still entitled to put it out there. So
Yes, and we can change too, right? And
mhm.
that's the beautiful thing about this
That's
show
what I
is like,
like
this
about
is
it.
what we think, but we've learned. And if I go back to where I was, like,
Oh
even
my
talking about my
god!
anxiety, season one compared to where I am now, I'm like, what anxiety besides like
Clearly,
my city being on fire? But other than that, I don't live in anxiety anymore, like I was just at the end of at season one,
I think
right?
that's the
So it's
beauty
like,
about everything, though.
it's
Is like
insane.
opinions should be ever changing. It should be like you
Yes,
should be able to like
they're not
accept new information
stale, they
without
don't
complete
stay.
like no you. That's where I think a lot of people have they get stuck. Like, I heard this. This is how I
Yes.
feel, and I don't want any new information about it. Well,
Nope.
yeah, that's not really
Uh-huh.
that's not
Mm-mm.
growth, and I don't want to be
No.
stagnant ever. So I always accept new information. I am so glad to hear other information. And I've had quite a few friends and people in my life like bring me new information, and sometimes it's like,
Please.
no, I don't resonate with that, or sometimes it's like, well, shit, I never
Yeah.
thought of
Or
that.
that's
Like, or I didn't
interesting.
know
I never
that.
thought it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then you hold it, and then you maybe
yeah,
down the road it makes
I,
sense,
I
right? It's
yeah, I
super
like that.
interesting.
It
Yeah,
I
same.
like growth. I don't want to remain
Me
the same person. If that's
no.
one of my
And I will be,
favorite things. Oh, you're just the same. No, I
yes.
hope to God I'm not.
Please no. Like, oh, you've changed. Oh,
Thank
thank fuck.
God.
I'm glad because
Thank
I've
you.
been working on me and I'm
Best
glad that I'm
compliment
hearing that
ever.
I'm,
Yeah,
yeah. Like, and there's good parts of you that you don't want to change, that I never want to
absolutely.
change personally about myself, but that doesn't mean I don't want people to notice that I'm getting
Growing.
better at my
Mhm.
reactions or my inner peace, or like
Mhm.
that stuff people see on the outside, that stuff that matters, I think. So it's like, yeah, you're still at the core a generous, kind person, but now I see your anxiety doesn't rule your life. Now I see that,
Mhm.
that you can drive more, or that you put yourself out there more or something. You know what I mean? I think that's an important, crucial thing of life. And especially reading Jordan Peterson lately, in
God,
his book is
you're
just
so
very
brave.
much like, it's big words. I'm doing it slowly, but it's also been very transformative for me of just like understanding that, like, you don't have to be perfect at
Yeah.
everything, and chaos and balance is always going to be there, and
Mhm.
just like the dynamic, it's just been really cool and really
Even when he's on Joe Rogan,
validating.
I have to like replay, and like
I
he
know.
is so
Your
intellectual,
mind
and
is
he is so
huge.
smart that it just
He
even Nick's like,
is.
I have the hardest time listening to him. Like, it
Sometimes,
is
yes.
his French brain like goes because he just like some of the words he's just like, dude, I it's a lot. Like, he is such a
I'm out.
smart
I'm out.
cookie, that man.
Home.
It's crazy.
He is. He is. That's why I like reading it better because then I
Hmm.
can take my time and like digest it, and I'm not pushing myself to read like X amount of pages. I'm like, hey, read for 15 minutes. And if you have to redo a sentence like
Same
18
paragraph
times
four
to fucking
times. It's
really
all
get it,
good.
at least get it. Like, make sure you're observing. Like, don't just read it, like, actually
Absorb.
intentionally absorb the
Yeah.
information. And if you have to go back, if you have to Google, like, this is something I'm uncomfortable with, that's why I keep pushing myself
Yeah.
because I used to be an avid
Good for
reader
you.
and now I'm not because of this stupid fucking thing that I'm talking into. But I'm trying to get back to it. And because I find him so inspirational and that I learned so much, that's why I picked him because I was like, I want to know what he has to say, even if it's a huge struggle. Because I'm the same way. Like, I was raised in French immersion. No one at home
Hey,
spoke
hey.
French. No one in class spoke English. It's just kind of weird that there's like some parts of the vocabulary that you just don't have
Yeah.
in your brain. And you're like, I don't know these words.
Right.
And I know them in French, but I don't know them anymore. So I
Is
don't know
is
them.
that what you did over
But
our break here? Is read Jordan?
that's what I've been doing. Yes, I've been doing.
What
Yes.
else? How are the
So in our break,
kitties?
yes. So kitties are good. Everyone is good right now. They're getting extra love this weekend. We'll talk why after. But summer break was really great. For those that knew, maybe not. I had my brother here for 3 weeks, and he's never been up here, so that was great. And then a break, and had my girl Jess come for Canada Day. We had a
Busy
great
girl.
time being busy, and then we had about a week, and then my brother and my mom came up. My brother moved up to Grand Prairie, doing the same thing that me and Grant did, which is really fun and awesome for him. And then my mama came up for 3 weeks, and we were able to bring her back just at the beginning of our last holiday. And then we've been back for about 2 weeks now, and we were gonna enjoy the rest of our summer, but plot
So
thickens.
much
But
for
anyways, things
that.
are good. Babies are good. So much for that. Things are really good. During the break, I learned to me a couple things about social media and reels for the podcast
Nice.
and all that. I didn't have as much time as I wanted to learn more about editing. So apologies if this season isn't as edited as I had wanted
We
hope,
real
but
girl. We don't apologize for that
we
shit.
didn't have time. We didn't have time. We decided to enjoy, and I mean, myself, my spouse, and everyone joining, we decided to enjoy the summer and take a break. And also, for those
Absolutely.
that don't know, we have a paddleboard company, so we were focused on making sure that our rentals were there and
Taken
just
care
did a
of.
website. My first ever. I built a website for the first time ever, so that was huge. So yay! I want to build one for us. Obviously, I've talked about that. That's still the plan for the fall. And yeah, things are really good. Weather was absolutely amazing. Again, we'll talk about that in the next segment. Um, our last vacation though was like really shitty weather. Hindsight, obviously we need it. It wasn't as nice. It was not that it
Cloudy,
was
rainy.
smoky, it was just cloudy and cold and not even rainy though. It was just cloudy and it's like that's great, but bring us fucking rain if you're gonna be
Yeah.
here. Like do something, please. Don't. And but I'm sure it helped, but it was just kind of a bummer. And I was in a really low mood, and I had to shake myself out and really ground down into like gratitude, being like, dude, you get 3 weeks off. This is your second one. Your summer has been amazing.
Yeah.
You have been to the lake a million times. You've paddleboarded. You've sat in the sun. You got like dark color. Like you got everything out of the summer
Now
you
it's
need.
time
Stop
for
being a
home
bitch.
time. A little. Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, I was wishing we'd get these last couple weeks, but we'll get into
Yeah.
it after. But how was yours? How was
Oh
your
God.
month
So
off?
the last episode you would have seen my mother-in-law walking by. So we had Nick's mom and dad here for the last little
Right.
bit, which was really nice. I hadn't seen them in a while. And then once they left, we went to the cabin a few times, my family cabin up by Lac La
Yes.
Biche, which was great. We had really great weather the one weekend, actually two of the weekends. It was beautiful. We've had really weird weather, like very up and
You have.
down. We
Yep.
haven't had the smoke this month, thank Christ, because I was so over that June
Yes.
and July. It was just, I get the worst headaches and like congestion. It's just gross.
Oh,
I
it's
got
the
to go
worst.
celebrate one of my besties' birthdays with her and my girls, which was freaking awesome.
Yes.
Mama needed a vacation and I
Yes.
got one.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, and then the last little bit, like for a few days there, we were getting pissed on while you guys needed it the
Mm.
most. We were no longer
Yes.
in the
Oh,
hot
oh.
weather. We were drenched. It rained for a solid 24, if not more hours there a
Yeah.
few days ago. It was absolutely wild. And
That is fucking wild.
yeah, Nick and I have thankfully, well, not thankfully, it's like really unfortunate, but we've been on the sidelines of everything that's been going on now. It's not so much Alberta the
Yes.
focus, it's BC,
Nope.
Northwest
It's us now.
Territories, and
Yeah.
some of the states and stuff. So
Everywhere
it's
else.
been, yeah, ours has been really chill. I can't complain. The weather's been really great in August. I hope it continues to September, to
Yes.
be honest with you, because having a extra long from June to September would be icing on a
Very
really
much good.
shitty cake that we've seemed to
Muy
have the
bueno.
last little bit here. And yeah,
Yes.
I guess now we can talk about
Yeah.
it. B and the girls
Yeah.
being so far
Yeah.
away from you guys and being completely helpless during this time of like complete crucial need has just been fucking. I woke up the one morning to
Weird.
68 text messages between the three of you.
Whoops.
No, don't be
Sorry.
whoops. My phone goes shuts off and I just kind of like it was just
Same.
like you could tell like the panic and the stress and the anxiety was just very real. Knowing
Oh my
that
God. It was
like some of the
absolutely
videos you guys
awful.
shared and like Nick and I were just like, "Oh my god, like what is going
It's fucked.
on?"
It's still fucked. It's
Dude,
still
it
fucked. It
started
won't
so
be. So
small and it just
it did. So
fucking
I
went
did pull something
rampant.
up. Yeah. So I did pull something up. So I was going to read what's like official on Wiki because
For all of you that are
I don't
completely
love
living
it,
under a
but
rock, we're talking about the fires in
yes.
BC, Northwest Territories that seem to be like our country's just burning. It's on fire right
It's
now.
just burning. Yes. So by the time this launches, it'll be 2 weeks. So this will be very much old news by then. But however, maybe not to some because Canadian news is
The
obviously
reparations will
trash.
still need to be like
It's
donations,
still,
all
yes.
sorts of
Yeah.
help needs
Donations,
to
all
like
that.
people's houses, businesses, lives
Yes.
are in ashes right now.
Are just very
Ashes.
much disrupted. Absolutely. And so I'm going to go over what the internet says, and then I'll explain to you my experience as well as kind of like
Mhm.
Danielle and where she's at, because both of us are in Kelowna, BC, for some of you that
So
know, that maybe
stressful,
some
man.
don't. It's very stressful, and thank you Hales NK and everybody at like this is, but the girls, like you guys know, we have a girl group that never changed, even though this is different, that never changed. And not only were we trying to update them to keep them updated, but they wanted to know how we were. It
Every
wasn't just
morning,
like
how
us
the
being
hell are
like,
you guys? What's going
it's
on?
like, how are you guys?
Are you
Yeah.
still at
And at the
home?
same time, you kind of feel frozen, right? So, okay. So, anyways, we are, as we're recording now, it's Sunday. So, we were actually supposed to record 2 days ago, but
Hmm.
because that was the
Height of it.
kind of the height of it, or the height of my like
Peak. Yeah.
emotions, I was not, and I wanted to redo my room and have like a nice clean room, and I
There's
was
no way you could
frozen on
focus. Yeah.
Friday. There's no way. So anyways, guys, okay, so it's called the McDougall Creek Fire, but it is so much more than that, but this is where it started. So the McDougall Creek Fire is an ongoing wildfire in the Okanagan region of British Columbia. It started near West Kelowna on August 15th and was discovered at 5:59 p.m. Pacific time. The wildfire had forced the evacuation of West Kelowna and parts of Kelowna. So for those that don't know, Kelowna is like kind of two sections, and there's a bridge. So there's the west side, West Bank. That is more, I believe most of it is, and please quote me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure most of it's indigenous land,
Hmm.
but the West Bank is heavily their area. That's a thing that we'll talk about another time and another episode we'll get back to,
Is
because
that D's
that's a
side?
common theme with all these fires. Yes, that's D side, so that's the west side. So Danielle is on the west side,
Hmm.
and there's kind of like west side road, and that's where, if you were watching videos
Oh my
on
god.
mine, if not, go to my Instagram, is where we were sitting. You could see West Side Road across, so the bridge goes across and it goes all the way down to like Fintry and that kind of area. Sorry guys, I'm very bad at geography. Grant's going to teach me because we've realized how bad I am over this last little bit. And then you could go past D's and you go out to like Peachland and Summerland and out that way, right? So they have it. D has that exit where she can go out that way if she needs to, because there is no fires. But McDougall Creek was kind of like back away from the city, where it's like more like people on the urban areas, like the outskirts, and that's kind of what all the way down West Side Road there. Whereas like she's more in the city, and so when the wind was going, it was originally going north, and it was moving the fire towards, like, it's called Rose Valley and Traders Cove. And then it has been going back and forth, but then all of a sudden it would turn
Oh
south and
thank
it would
god.
turn back and going on the city. And for us on the other side, so yeah, so west side's here, and then there's a bridge that connects us. Most of you have seen the bridge over the west side, and then there's downtown Kelowna that kind of goes out to like Rutland area here about, and then like Lake Country, Winfield, and that goes out to Vernon, and that kind of place where most people like are tourists and traveling and stuff. And that's where my work is.
Yeah.
Lake Country is where I am at. I go out for work, so I travel that highway to go to work. And there's another part that's like Glenmore. It's kind of like the back road of the highway where UBC is, college, all that, or university, all of that. So it started. So again, I'm not. I'm going to leave it for right now. We're just going to go with facts that we know.
Hmm.
We'll speculate after, because right now that's not what's important. But overall, at least 35,000 people were under evacuation order, and another 30,000 were on evacuation alert as of August 19th. So evacuation order was, if you're looking at a map, will be the red zone. If you're looking at the BC map, which guys I would download if you're in BC, it's the Fire app. It shows you where evacuations areas
So
are, where the fire
scary,
points
man.
are, where the notifications are. So There's 35,000 people that were on order. That's get the fuck out right now. I don't give a shit. Get your shit and go. And then notice. So 30,000 people on alert, just meaning like you
Get
could
your
be
shit
told at
packed
any
and get
time
ready.
to get to go. Yeah. So get ready. So we, as of the current time, as of recording right now, have not and will not be in those zones. We're
God.
about 5 kilometers away from the closest like
Which
notification
still
zone,
isn't far.
which it's not far. Like it's not some, and but I don't know this, right? Like this is the first time I'm going through this in my life. And the crazy part is so um, when this fire started, it was, like 50 hectares. And then because of the massive amount of wind, there was gusts. And I don't know, I'm not going to say, but it was well over 30, 40, 50s. I've heard up into the 70s of the
Kilometers an
wind
hour for
gusts. And
sure.
you can hear, yeah, you can hear it on
Videos.
the videos when you watch. And what with Okanagan Lake, it's a long lake, and we're on both sides here, the west side and our side, and the wind would just funnel, and there was like this little rivet, and the wind would just go up and tunnel, and you would just see the flames rise across the whole mountain across
The
us.
mountains get
So
really
we
bizarre wind tunnels and really bizarre
Oh,
weather,
yes.
right? So,
Yes. And so it was just pushing up and it
mhm.
pushing up. And unfortunately, some of the places only have one road access. So some people, I don't know their reasons. I'm not sure if they just didn't hear, they're trying to get their shit, didn't leave. And so the first responders put themselves at risk trying to go out there, and
Yeah,
they almost couldn't get out. They actually had to escape through the water and on boats because the one
they
road
were
that they
stuck.
had was in danger. They were stuck. So they had to be saved by the water. Could you
You
fucking
guys telling me the
imagine?
stories of like roads being blockaded by police, you can't go back in even if you had pets. And I told you guys, bro, I would be mission impossibling through people's
Yes,
backyards,
I would be too.
stealth mode to go.
Yeah,
You couldn't even stop me if you wanted to.
you couldn't stop
And
me.
I think
Nope,
that's where
you could
people
not.
got fucked is like there is shit that I
Yes.
need and I can't leave without it. I you
No,
can't. Like how do you,
I can't. I could not
especially
imagine
with,
leaving. And I get it
dude,
if you had
the
to, like,
houses that
fuck,
I have
but
seen completely leveled. People have lost
yes,
everything. Like, oh my
everything.
god, it just I could cry.
Everything.
Like it's just
I know. It was heartbreaking.
it's hard.
So where I was at, so Thursday, I'm out at work, out Lake Country. We knew these fires were happening, but
Yeah.
it wasn't anything like that. And I drove in Glenmore, whereas so that's where the fire had traveled across, is like McKinley. I drive right past that. So we take a road called Glenmore, and it's kind of like the same as the highway to where you need to get to, but like by the landfill, the back kind of back road, right off
Hmm.
the highway. So I like to drive on the highway out to Lake Country, and I like to drive Glenmore on the way back. It's just different views both ways. I just like that little
Fuck.
roundabout. So I'm driving home, and all of a sudden I look and I could just see this fucking massive. And Grant's texting me as he's
Some of the
driving, and
pictures you guys
Lana,
sent,
like,
those smoke clouds
I will
were
never forget that.
horrifying.
They were
Like
horrifying. I was like,
doomsday
it looked
shit.
like a volcano
Yeah.
fucking erupted.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like. And I was like, oh my God. But it still didn't hit me. It was like, okay, we've seen this like in 2020, 2021. Sorry, we've seen this kind of down more. And like, I think it was like past Ventry area. So we've seen these kind of things
Well,
before.
you
I'm like,
guys aren't
okay,
strangers to them, but
we're
this
not, but
magnitude,
us, yes, because we've only been here for 4 years. So we have had the smoky and we've had it close, but we've not had like we're on
the
evacuation.
direct
So
like effect, and you guys are
yeah.
in the heat of it.
Yeah, and so nothing was said Thursday. It was pretty windy. We're like, okay, this is fucked, but we're like, we're gonna go to the gym. And what was crazy because it was so fucking windy, it was making this like tunnel. So it was like just this tunnel across the sky. And so we went to the gym, and it was this tunnel, and it was this tunnel, and then all of a sudden the wind picked up by the time we left the gym, and it just went hard. And we're like, okay, now this is fucked. And we're like
Mhm.
everybody else, like, what is happening? So we drove to Knox Mountain, where, if you guys remember,
Some of
maybe not,
those
there was a fire on Canada Day,
pictures and
and
videos you
we
guys
sat
had were
there.
like, it's one of those like, I hate to say it because it sounds so insensitive, but I'm not trying to be. It's one of those like beautiful disasters. Like the view you guys
It
had
is.
of that like incredible mountain fire by the beach and
Display.
shit, and all the
Yes.
people out there
Yes.
like
Watching.
it's like watching a car
What was
crash. Like what
incredible,
else can you do? Like but sit there and
you
just like
can't. And
what is
that's,
going on? Like
well, and you have to see it for yourself. Like, I didn't
disbelief.
want to be there for too long, but you're like, I have to see what this is. And then so there,
Hmm.
obviously everyone's doing the same thing. So there's no parking down by Knox or Sutherland. And that's such a special place for us. We bring everybody there that comes to visit. That's where we do our sup yoga, like classes with with our yoga
Well,
space.
you can
Like,
tell why it's a beautiful space, but
it's
to
such a
have
beautiful
that
spot.
going in the
And
background is just
yes. So
tragic.
what was really what was fucking me up is that we went and sat on this log, and that's where the video was taken. And we were there just after 8 o'clock, and we left. Sorry, just yeah, I think it was just before 8 o'clock we got there, and then around 8:45, as things really started darken, it was hitting me really hard, and I couldn't stop crying. It was starting to get overwhelming, feeling the land, feeling the animals, feeling the people, everyone around
The
us, just like in
loss.
complete utter and not knowing. And you guys, like, I've never seen something move. It looked like lava was coming down the fucking mountain, and I was just watching it. When we started there, it was at the top of the mountain because it was just coming over, and as we sat there, it was halfway down the mountain, starting to come to the road to hit the houses. And I was like, I can't witness this any longer. I was like, this is something that's going to haunt my nightmares for the
Yeah,
rest of my life.
no
And
kidding.
I wanted to be there, and I wanted to sit with it, and I wanted to sit with the nature and the animals and the things that lost their lives
You
and
could
honor
feel it
them
too
and be in
much.
that pain and feel it. But it was a point where it was like,
Overwhelming.
I think that was, yeah, I think that sputtered me the next day. I think I carried that for the next 24 hours, and I could not eat the next day. I couldn't move, and here I am trying to work because I'm working from home, and our facility gets shuts down at 9, and I'm like, well, what the fuck do I do? Like, I cannot focus, I cannot think. All I'm thinking is like, if, because I don't know, I'm not from this. So I'm like, Thursday night, everyone's like, it's not going to cross. It's not going to cross. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, at like, I think it was like 11 o'clock here. Okay, so let's continue reading. So the Madugal fire is one of the many wildfires that is currently burning in the province of British Columbia. The province announced Thursday, August 17th, it's the most challenging 28 to 48 hours this summer. So that Thursday night, the fire chief said that it was about where 100 years of firefighting went into one night because the wind was so bad that they could barely have any helicopters up, and it was just so bad on the
Visibility
ground
was
because the
terrible.
wind,
Well,
very
when we were
terrible.
talking, like I was so ignorant to it when you said it jumped the lake. I'm like, how the fuck does it jump the lake? And even Nick
And I don't
today,
know
I
if it
told him,
does,
and
but like,
he's like, what the fuck do you mean it jumped the lake? I'm like, dude, the wind was so bad it carried sparks and embers over to the other side and helped it spread so much faster and that much more. It was just
yeah,
because, like you, Alberta, we're landlocked, baby. We don't have
yeah,
the privilege of the ocean or lakes that big. Like,
yeah,
we're not
yeah,
Ontario, we're
exactly.
not BC. We don't have that. Whereas
Yeah,
you guys do. So, yeah, you would assume we've got a huge lake. Like, that should stay over
yeah,
there. We're
everything's
good.
fine. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
fuck if we
And
were
and there's
wrong.
tons of and there's tons of speculation on that. I believe one of the fire chief has been quoted that said that that is what happened. Now, a lot of people are saying where the fire started. So, let me just go through this because I
Yeah.
think it'll show more of a timeline. So, at 6 o'clock on August 15th, the McDover fire was discovered and reported. So, on the 15th, which would have been Tuesday, the fire was reported to BC Wild Services about 10 kilometers northwest of West Kelowna.
Hmm.
In the evening of August 17th, a constant wind gust caused the wildfire to rapidly spread across the mountainside, and that's what we're talking about. So it was reported on the 15th, and from what I heard,
Tuesday.
allegedly it was Tuesday, it was 50 hectares. And there is video evidence of this fire, of people being like, I've called this in, this is where it is. And because of the wind, and supposedly, allegedly, we'll get into this down the road in another episode, is that they're leaving fires a little bit longer because they overextended. This is what I'm hearing, that they've overextended in the past, so they're not jumping on little fires right away. But like,
Forest
take that
fires,
with a
it's
grain
like
of
a
salt,
strategic
y'all.
burn, which,
Yes,
like,
and there's a difference
there
when it's
are
that close to people's houses,
there
though.
are
Like,
sense to some of them and there are strategy to some of them, but
yeah, yeah. And so
fuck.
here I am at work out Lake Country, and I'm kind of slowly starting to hear about evacuations because we actually had a lady that booked with us on Saturday, and that's how I knew, is because she messaged us saying, "Hey, I'm probably going to go on evacuation alert because of this fire." And I'm like, what? This fire supposedly smell. She's, I didn't say anything back, but in my head I'm like, oh,
It's
like,
supposed to
I
be
didn't
a lot
realize it got that
smaller
bad
than
because
that.
I'm just at work, like, doing my thing. But I was like, oh, of course, no problem. Like, if things change, like, let us know. But we're always here to help. Let us know how we can help. And she's like, thank you. And then as I'm driving home, I'm seeing this. So at 1:25 on Thursday, the evacuation alert was expanded, and an evacuation order was issued to the city of West Kelowna for 68 properties. Throughout the evening of August 17th, further evacuation orders were issued by emergency officials. Around 9:55 on August 17th, the wildfire jumped over Okanagan Lake, sparking new wildfires across the city of Kelowna, forcing a state of emergency by the city for further evacuation. So this is what I want to talk about. So there is a lot of people that are saying, yes, it jumped. There's also a lot of people. So where this sparked was, this is so fucked up. So it went all the way down to Fintry on the other side. They're on evacuation. On our vacation, Me and Grant went to the waterfall out there, but we came back because it was raining, and it wasn't like crazy raining, but enough to be like, okay, we're done this.
Yeah.
And then the other place that we went to was, there's a way to get to Paul's Tomb, which is on Knox Mountain, that you can kind of, I think it's called Lockview. It's called Lockview Trail. Me and Grant had walked the Lockview Trail a couple days after we went to Fintry. That is a very big place to be, to look over to see the fire on that side. So a lot of people are saying that it was man accident made on that side because people were watching the fire and there were
Yeah.
so many people. So like, I don't know, I have no idea. I
There's a
hope
lot
in
of
the coming weeks we can
speculation.
figure out. There's lots of speculation. There's a lot of theories that are going around, and I fully understand all of those things, but at the end of the day, today what I would like to talk about is the devastation that Kelowna is going through, the
Mm-hmm.
lack of support from government officials. Why the fuck did we leave it for 2 days without touching it? I don't give a shit if that's what you're doing. Kelowna is called the Smoke Noggin
For a
for a
reason.
reason.
Yeah.
We are dry as a fucking popcorn fart all the time. And I will say though, my confusion, I've been here for 4 summers.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually the mildest, least hot summer we've had. I've been here when it's been close to 50
Yeah.
degrees. It was like 47 one year. My
I feel like
question
I've seen that
is,
a lot. A lot of people have
why
said
this
that.
year?
Like, it's been really,
Why this year?
it hasn't been
Like, it's been
anything
hot,
extraordinary
but
though.
nothing crazy. Nothing
So
crazy.
the
Nothing
argument
extraordinary.
of everyone's favorite scapegoat of climate change
But it
just doesn't
always,
seem realistic when
no,
it's been hot, but that's BC. BC is hot.
this BC is
And
always hot, and like, we don't have rain, but we never
I'm
get
gonna have
rain.
to look
Like,
into it because it doesn't quite make sense to
I
me.
know.
Like, spontaneous combustion just isn't a thing that happens in the middle
I
of
just feel
nowhere.
like it
Like,
can't be.
it would have to
Yeah.
be hot as Satan's asshole for it to just like
Yes.
spontaneously into flames. Like,
Yes.
I even saw
And I'm not saying it's to do things either, because like I do understand that, and I
they've
agree with
yeah,
that for Maui.
they've
I
they've
totally
made
agree with that for
arrests in
Maui, but
Northwest Territories for arson.
exactly. And that's another
Like,
thing, guys, that maybe you don't know if you're listening, and I'm sure you would know by now because it's 2 weeks. But in Yellowknife, I don't
Yellowstone.
mean to, but I always say Yellowstone. I'm like, fuck,
Yeah,
that's not what it's
Yellowknife
called.
is.
Yellowknife, there was like what, 20,000 people air flown out of their city, I believe, over to Edmonton.
I'd like to say
I'm pretty
another
sure
of the
that's what it was.
scariest things is I do not subscribe to mainstream news at all. I don't watch
No.
it. I don't have subscriptions
Yes,
to
when we talk
anywhere.
about that though.
And being this new stupid bill, I didn't know until it was like raging. And I have a friend who lives in Northwest Territories, and I messaged her like, "Dude, are
Yes.
you okay? I'm just
Yeah.
hearing what the hell's going on." And she like thankfully was fine, but we don't get the privilege of seeing that unless you subscribe to it or turn on the news, which I don't have a habit of doing. So, like,
Nope.
that too, in my opinion, was a lack of communication and a complete. It's just no one was prepared in Northwest Territories or in BC. The amount of
Nope.
people that and the amount of posts that I've seen of like there was no warning. Same with
Nope.
Maui,
None.
no alarms went off. There was
Yes.
no
None.
freaking
Nope.
warning. And being
And do you know what their argument is there? Is that they say, well, our alarms are for tsunamis. I'm like, but why couldn't you have sounded it the
it
minute you
should
knew
be
things were
just like
catching
a
on fire,
natural
though?
disaster or a disaster
It
alarm.
should
It should
just
just
be
be
that.
any form
Yeah.
of like emergency
Yeah.
alarm. But
Yes, and I will say, I do want to, sorry, I don't mean
no,
to
no,
cut
no,
you off.
no.
I do want to say one more thing about this quickly, is that what I will say is at the local level, these motherfuckers are working so fucking
I was
hard.
gonna say,
Like, I do not believe the corruption hits the local levels. I do not believe the firefighters that are coming up here have anything to do with, even if we find out that this is nature and it was, let's say, taken advantage of by the government. I don't care any of that. At the end of the day,
yeah,
these local level people, I do not believe are part of this corruption.
the
I think they are working
restaurants,
so
the
hard.
businesses
The
that I've
restaurants,
seen
the
that are
businesses,
offering
the
either free
RCMP,
or a huge discount to evacuees and first responders is like absolutely beautiful. And it just goes to
I've been
show
bawling.
our government was nowhere to be found. You'll hear from
Nowhere.
Dusty eventually some of the things that
Hmm.
he's heard about, like fire trucks being
His family.
completely locked up and not in
Yep.
use. We've heard people say
Hmm.
that the helicopter and the water bombers have been put away. People have offered help, offered their water bombers and
Offered.
offered to,
Yep.
and don't stand down.
To help.
Like,
Nope.
that
Stand down. Yep.
level was, I hate to say it, was a
Gone.
little corrupt and a little like controlled, but the lower local level has been
Just,
beautiful. I have never,
just
like, it was
amazing.
so Yeah, I just seeing the amount
We
of
have,
posts of people like, come eat here for free, come eat here for
yep.
like huge discount, please come stay here. We've got a place for you to come and rest and relax and take a load off. Like, it has been incredible. So,
Yes. And people offering, and here's the cool thing is that this is all happening with the community. It's all happening through the Facebook pages. It is happening through Instagram.
social.
It's happening through social media, and it's not with the news or the government or
So you
those
wouldn't see it. They're not
organizations.
going to
You wouldn't see
advertise
it.
that
No, and so here's the
unless
shitty
they're,
thing about that. So then you have family all over Canada that are
Mhm.
panic calling you, which amazing. Love you guys. Thanks for
But
caring.
still.
But they're like, "Oh my god, you're on fire. You need to get out." I'm like, "Okay, no, we're not. Friday, was I tripping? Did I eat any food? No. Did I pace all fucking night? I didn't go to the gym. I wasn't leaving my cats. I
Couldn't
wasn't leaving
sleep.
my home. I had totes out. I had fucking my suitcase out. I had our cat stuff crates ready to go. I had their food ready to go. I had snacks. I had gas. I was cash. I was ready to fucking go. But when they look at it, they're always just
Yeah.
repeating those very, very brutal. And I'm not
It's
saying
the
that the rest of the fire
buzzwords.
hasn't been brutal, but the first 24 hours at that fire, it was blazing.
Yeah.
And now they have completely, not completely, but like the expansion of the evacuation orders, they haven't grown. They've stayed the same since Friday afternoon. This is how I've been able to sleep the last couple of
Yeah.
days because it hasn't moved. And that's all from the hard work of the lower
Hmm.
local level government. So don't get it twisted when we're talking about this shit that we think this is the local level. Like there was Cherry Creek Fire Department, which is from my hometown. There was Sprout Lake Fire Department, which is my hometown. They had Esquimalt, they had Coquitlam, they had Surrey, they had Burnaby, they
Everyone
had
pitched
fucking
in.
everyone up from up north.
Good.
They've had to actually send some of our people up to this Shuswap because the Shuswap is worse than us right now. Like they're a mass
I,
amount of
f-
fires, and we're going to talk about this the other time. But yeah,
I
that's kind of
feel
what I'm
like
currently
a lot
going through
of
right now.
a lot of the help like that was not dispatched by higher ups though. That
No,
was a local
no, it
decision
was
of,
local
we're
level.
going to help, which me and the
Yes,
girls had talked about all weekend, is like the lack, like when something this big affects this many people, I hate to say it,
yes,
and not many people agree, it should be all fucking hands on deck. I don't care if you have a
100%.
bucket,
I agree.
a water, a
Hmm.
gardening hose, even though the
A
water was
shovel,
anything. It should be
anything.
all fucking hands on deck. Like,
Yep. And now it's like, no, sorry, you can't help. We've been told so many people have just been like, I don't care. Tell me, I don't care. I'll sign a waiver sending my
yeah.
life to, I don't care. I'll help. And they're like, no, you're not
Even
trained in
if,
anything. So,
like, I've seen like every second or third house on like Dusty, like his dad, they were given fire hoses to
yes,
help fight. Like,
yes,
you couldn't have paid me to leave. If I have a fire hose and I can fight it
100%.
myself and I
Yep.
have a means to, bitch, I'm doing it. Like, the fact that so
100%.
many people just
100%.
like panicked, left, clogged the
Yep.
highways, which was such a dangerous thing, and just
Hmm.
like
A lot of people panic left
that's where
too.
you see the mainstream media likes to just, it's the fear and it's the panic.
Hmm.
And yes, there was
It
right to
is.
panic. There was absolute, people lost
Yes.
their houses, their businesses, their cabins, their
Yes.
everything. So there's
Yes.
absolute reason to be fearful. But the like
But time and place
absolute
too, though, right?
panic and like chaos and like mayhem that ensued, it seemed, was like some of that could have been avoided if it was just truthful reporting and not
Yes.
like
100%.
stress
Well, I was
people.
flipping the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then Grant was like, sit down. He was like, babe, when the houses in the city start to light on
Yeah.
fire,
The
then you can
mall.
start to freak out. The mall, like it has to go through the mall. It has to go through like
Yeah.
literally all of downtown's core to get to where
And
we are,
if it
just where
gets
they
to
are.
that
But then we
point and
have
no one's
so
doing
many
nothing,
different.
then you know there is something very wrong. So
Yeah. And I've said with
it's
everyone, as
still,
soon as we hit that notice, like that's when we'll start being like, okay, seriously, everyone that's given us like we can come stay with us. Okay, what actually makes sense to go
yeah,
and where can we
where are we
actually leave?
going?
But like it's just so wild. So yeah, so we'll go into that more as things develop. I kind of want to leave it kind of
Yeah.
at that, except for I want to say, you guys, there is lots of GoFundMe's. Reach out
Yeah.
to me. I will connect you. But the biggest organization, I am not, do not send your shit to fucking Red Cross. Do not send your shit to there. You want to send your stuff to
Yeah.
mamasformamas.org. So you want to go there. They have a whole thing. I mean,
More
this
local,
organization is amazing
smaller.
anyway, but this is local. This is
Red
helping
Cross ain't
not
doing
just
shit.
mamas,
You
but
know it's
everywhere.
not.
They ain't
I'm
doing shit
sorry.
anywhere. So no, that's okay. So the website again is mamasformamas.org slash fire support. So you can go volunteer there. You can go donate there. If you need childcare, you could go put your stuff in there. If you need services, you can
Yeah.
go there. These are local people that are helping. And also, guys, if you want to go and find out where, so one thing that I've been collecting, not just to tell people where to go if they are evacuees or looking for places to go, I'm also collecting these businesses. So myself, I know who was supporting people through this, so
Hmm.
that when things calm down, I am going to go to those businesses and make sure that I'm
A
constantly
personal thank
supporting
you.
them,
Yeah.
sharing their stuff, and personally thank them for being here for the community. So if you are looking, you can go on my personal page is brandy.marie.xo, and I do have a highlight that says Kelowna Fire 23
Hmm.
and all the businesses there. So please, if you can, go to those businesses, especially if you know a small business in the Okanagan that is struggling right
Yeah.
now. Even though you know that you can't get their stuff, if you do have the ability, please buy from them so that when they get back, they still have a
this
small
is
business to come
this
back
is
to.
where local
Like, this is
support,
what we need.
buying local, donating to local
So important.
charities, local organizations,
Yes.
that is where the hard
Yeah.
working, hard earned donations are going to be useful. The big government ones, they're
Yes.
stealing that. You know they
Yeah.
are. You should know by now
Go
that,
to the
like,
local firemen.
yeah,
Yes.
local
Go
stations,
to the local
local restaurants,
fire
local
stations.
everything.
Yes. Yes. And like people have been going to Costco and
Yeah.
filling up and dropping off. Like, it's so amazing. And I really appreciate the celebrities that do live here. Like Jillian Harris has been speaking about this. I'm not sure if I don't think she lost her farm. The last I heard she hadn't, but there's farms around her. So, there is also going to be a lot of survivor's guilt, guys. Like, I think that's the biggest thing that I'm really struggling with right now is like being
Well,
so
you know
upset, but at the
people
same
have lost
time,
their houses.
exactly. And I'm just like, bitch, you are so lucky. But at the same time, there's devastation. Like, so just have grace with yourself if you are going through this. If
Hmm.
you are further away watching, like the girls, like
Oh my
100%, you
god, I
have every
hated
right
it.
to sit there and be living in stress and, not worrying. And it's all understandable. My suggestion to everybody is make sure you're doing the things that ground you. I was struggling. Obviously, yesterday I didn't do anything, but today and yesterday I went to the gym, trying to eat again, clean the house. I did
Yeah,
laundry. I'm very blessed and privileged that I
your
can do
routine
this
will
right now.
save you.
Understand
Just
that.
keep
It
to
will.
your
It will.
normal.
And
It's hard. I
yeah,
can't even
it
explain to
is.
you how useless, and like how, like, all I could do is, how are you guys today? Like, just,
I know.
it's
But
so
that's
hard.
something though, because it was like, wow, people care. Or like,
I still
wow,
straight
if
up
we have
told
to drive,
B and yeah, I told them, you guys come to Alberta if you have to. My basement is yours. Like, there's no problem.
yes,
Our cats might not get along, but we'll
it's
deal with
fine.
that
We'd figure
when
it
it
out. They'd stay in their
happens.
cages,
Right.
And it's like, and even between me and D, it's like, hey, do you need me to run to get you a
Yeah.
cat crate?
Do you
Like,
need
how, like,
anything?
that would be five cats in our house, but we would like board up the basement and let them go down there if that's what it took. But at the same time, it's like, I want to offer my house, but I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be in a fire zone myself
Yeah.
because I have no idea what's going on. So it's such a weird trip, but we're through the big part of it. By the time you guys hear this episode, I would
Pray to
really
God
fucking
that
hope that we are
you're out
past this.
the
I it's gonna be burning for a month for sure, but at least
hot
contained to the
spots and
point where everyone
everything.
can kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, go back to rescuing their houses. So there's that, guys. But let's wrap up with like what we're most excited that's coming up in season 6,
Absolutely.
and just the fall and winter. So for me, I love the activities that come with the fall and winter. Like, I am such a, like, yes, I can't wait to decorate for Halloween and have Thanksgiving, even though it's usually just the two of us with turkey dinner. And I love that middle time of like getting ready for Christmas and then everything
Yeah.
that December has. I love New Year's and the reset. I absolutely fucking hate January, February, and March, but we're gonna possibly, who knows, with the COVID restrictions, we probably
Yeah.
won't book it, but we're going to book the time off, and then we'll see. We want to go on like a nice destination
Yeah.
vacation in the new year, and I am most excited, you guys, about this season because I think it encapsulates all of the last 5 seasons
All the best
in
parts
just
of it.
this one. All the best parts of it. I feel more inspired to ask guests that I'm nervous to ask for. I have some people that I
Oh my
have
god, I'm so excited
coming
for
up
some
that
of them
I'm
if it
so
happens.
nervous, and we're not going to say anything because we're just like fangirling a lot of our new guests. Not that we haven't fangirled past ones, please, y'all don't take it that way. Every season we just get more excited
Get
because we get
ballsier.
braver to ask. Get ballsier, like asking Dusty to come on to do his even his own portion,
Yeah.
like there's some people that we have admired and respected through this whole pandemic that we're now very excited that possibly, we're not going to jinx it, come on the show.
Right.
But yeah, that's what I'm most
Well,
excited about. What about you,
unlike
Hills?
you, I'm not excited for winter. We are in the heat and heart of
I
fucking
know.
like buried up to my fucking eyeballs and tits in snow. So I don't
That's true.
mind it, but I'm not the
I know. I
biggest
hate it too, though.
fan.
I don't like the weather. Let's be clear. I don't
Yeah,
like the weather.
but
I
do.
just like the event.
I am an October baby, so Halloween is my shit. My birthday is the week before, so even better. So October is a great month for me, but November, December, I don't know what we're doing for Christmas this year yet. We might be staying
Me neither.
home. We have family all across Canada that we can visit, but like B said, there's some rumors swirling about
TBD.
restrictions and shit coming back and masks and blah 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 blah.
And you
So
know your bitches ain't ever gonna get it. They're
no,
never gonna get
I've
it.
missed funerals
Mm-mm.
and weddings, and it still pisses me off. But that doesn't deter me. We're just it is what it is. But I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
yeah. I think the layout of this season.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it because last season was fun, but
It's fun.
the load this season
Yeah.
is going to be much more manageable and doable.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm just through and through excited. I feel like it's going to
Yeah. Me
be
too.
you and I fucking just conquering.
Passionate enough.
Yeah, and I can't wait
Adventuring.
for the days that Kay comes on, and I can't wait to see what Dusty does. That
Me
man is
too.
so
I'm
opinionated in the
pumped.
best way, and I know he's
Yes.
gonna bring fire, like fire to this season. So I'm very
Real
excited,
talk, man.
right?
Real talk.
So
Yeah, we've got
yeah,
a lot of that coming. A
fall
lot of
should
fun
be
guests coming.
very interesting, and winter too. Unlike you,
Yeah.
I enjoy January, February, March because that's cute, kind of like where
Fair.
our work slows down. So I get more of like
That's fair.
time to reset and do all
Time for
my New
you.
Year shit. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I'm
fair.
fucking and March is birthday month in my family. We've got like fucking 15 of them. It's ridiculous. Everyone's birthday
And
but
it just kind of
mine is
skyrockets you to
yeah,
April.
is
Yeah.
in March.
You're like,
So
fine,
yeah, I'm
whatever.
excited.
Oh.
I
And then by
I'm
March we'll
excited.
be on season 7.
Ugh. Oh
So
my
that
god.
isn't that
Time
weird? Doesn't it go by so
flies. That is
fast?
so
I know.
oh my god.
That's why I'm like,
Season 7.
even yeah, so we're like 2.5 years in, right? Because we
Dude.
launched March 2021. So we are 2.5 years into it and going on our 6th season. So I just love that. I love it. And it just, like I said, it's as long as I have one person to chat to. I mean, guys, we even had solos, but this season, like we said, we have lots coming of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot less. So now it's like, so for me, it was just like, what could we possibly do? And we were seeing how many people were liking the episode. So 4
Mhm.
just didn't feel like enough, right? So it was just like, well, how do you pick between sharing all the stuff that you've learned versus sharing the experiences? So in
Yeah.
my mind is like, let's fucking do both. And then it was like, wow, this shit takes a long time. And then you got to do all this stuff on social
You
media.
don't really
It's
realize
a
it till
lot. I
you're in
would
it.
not have made it. Yeah, and then of course, like me and you are just like perfectionists and OCD, and it's like we gotta hit
Well,
everyone because
adding
if we could
video
do
to it
this,
too, like
then we can
doing
know.
just voice is like very different, and like
Very
editing can be
easy,
a little bit
very
easier, but
easy.
like yeah, when your face is here and like facial
Oh
expressions
my
for
goodness.
screenshots and like the whole kit and caboodle technology
Yes.
failures like you guys saw at the end of last season and shit, like there's a
Fuck
lot that
me.
goes
That was
into
hard.
it. So
That was a lot. That was a lot last season.
the
Holy shit.
end
But
of
we made
last
it through.
season with the tech and like having to go to Zoom and having to do that whole shit was just like it was definitely like
And the amount of
girls you
times,
need to this is your break, you need to
yeah, it's time to cut.
let's
And I'm
crank
like,
her down.
no, not until we get
No.
not till we get to this 145 because that numerically makes me
You're
feel
like me.
good inside my
I
soul.
can't have the TV at anything but either a 5 or like an odd number or not odd, an even number, a 5 or a 0. Like I
Yes.
have a very weird
Yes, there's
OCD
things.
about it and like yeah, there's
You feel me.
the numbers. I'm very big on
That's why you
numbers
got
too.
me.
So,
That's why I was like, Kaylee's got this.
yeah.
We've got it. I was like, do you understand that we'll end at
Yes.
145?
I'm
That feels
very
really
yeah.
good to
If
me.
we didn't, I would have been like, "Oh, can we like
Oh, can we just throw a
figure
20
something
minute one
out
on
there?"
there? Yeah. Let's talk about Hollywood.
It's
That's
where
always
B
a
and
good
I
one.
match, is we're just OCD
We
about the
do
weirdest of
very
things.
much. But that's where it makes like goal planning together so great
Yeah.
because we both know that like it's not just a team thing. And that's not saying the other girls, I'm not saying that, but just me and Hales have really weird
You only
tendencies that are
have the
very
one
along
set
this
of
way.
eccentricities to like align with, where because we share the same ones, so it's not like you have to
We
like
do.
match everyone's. We have the
No,
exact
yeah.
same one. So
yeah, I was like, she gets me.
yeah.
Will you just talk to me for 10 minutes so we have an episode, please?
Like every
and
now
then
and then,
like an
ooh,
hour and a
it's
half
episode
later.
123, you guys. Like, oh, like we just get so
It's
like
magic.
jacked about numbers.
I think yes, because 123 was our 10,000. So
Yes,
what's kind
we
of cool
planned that
is that
too.
we planned that too, and it actually ended up happening just before we recorded
Oh
that
my
night.
god,
Like
I
talk about
die. We
universal.
are just, yeah, we're freaking
We're weird.
awesome.
That's
I
fine.
love
I'm
it.
fine with it, but we are awesome. But don't worry, guys. We are okay in the Okanagan. Not okay. We will be okay. We will
Yes.
share more as stuff comes. Obviously, this is going to be 2 weeks past. So by the time we actually get to it, we should know a lot more. But send all of your love, your good vibes to all over, actually all over the world, you guys.
Oh
But obviously,
god,
we're going
yeah.
to ask where that's closer to home. We'll talk more about the fires that are going on all over Canada. But I am very excited to be back. Hales, it's so nice to be back in the studio with you.
Absolutely.
I cannot wait, you guys. As always, follow us on all social media platforms.
Yep.
Make sure you are liking, subscribing, turning on those notification bells. Help your bitches because we are so still shadow banned. I got a notification
So brutal.
on break that an episode got removed from YouTube. So me and
Wasn't that like the
Halls'
super,
episode
like it had been on there forever. It's like, way to be late to the game
forever.
there, YouTube.
And we
The
talked
fuck?
about Vax for like 2 minutes. But anyways, I digress, guys. Always following us. We
Ridiculous.
love it. If you want to be a part of episode, let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know feedback on the season because we want to make sure we're producing and giving you guys what you like to hear. But we've got, of course, says
Kitty.
Smokey, yes. Kitty. Oh,
yeah, Smokey took
that's
off.
what we love here. Oh, Smokey took off.
He's sick of my
Fine
shit.
then. You don't get your 5 minutes. I'm not sick of it.
She's
I
my
love
bad
your
bitch.
shit.
She's
But
ride or die this one, so she'll always be here.
Oh, yes.
You'll always see this
I
tail
love it.
flicking
Well,
in the background.
we'll always steal that tail. So you guys got 3 pussies here. One's just maybe hiding. That's how we're going to end it. We'll see you in the next episode. Until next time, guys.
See ya.
Bye. Thank you guys for stopping by the show today. We appreciate you so much. If you like this episode and you want to hear more, make sure to show us some love on our Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest page, the Be Real Babe Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube and Rumble channels, like those episodes, and turn on the notification bells. You can find our video version of the show on YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify, or you can catch the audio version on Apple and Google Podcast. But stay tuned for more realness coming to you soon. Until next time, babes.